welcome to the Yaoi Shelf. Grab a seat and relax. Hi.
Hi.
We have a guest.
We have a guest.
Oh my gosh.
Oh
We're
my
here.
God. It's happening.
Okay. Longtime listeners of the show and longtime followers of me will know that Tylor has been one of my besties for literally years.
Oh.
I genuinely don't think there is a Yaoi Shelf without Tylor.
Stop.
His encouragement and willingness to give us a chance and give me a chance is why we still have this show. So it's so fitting that at the end of the year, when we're thinking of like retrospectives and nostalgia and stuff like that, to have one of my favorite people in the BL world on this show. And I get to spend my yaoi-ness with my two favorite people.
We're coming together. We're friends.
I am just, happy to finally meet Tylor. Like, I've heard so much about it. We've never actually talked.
Yeah. It's weird because I've been told this before with past podcasts that I've been on where people who are listeners are like, oh, I feel like I know you, and that's how I feel about you, Carola. Well, I'm like, oh, I already know Carola, of course. Like I've been listening to her every month for like years.
Yeah. I mean, and that's pretty much what you get. Yeah, there are no secrets here.
There are no secrets, and there are even fewer secrets if you join us on Patreon.
Good God.
I'm so excited to have Tylor here. I'm so excited for this topic because this month we're talking about how we as senior fans used to keep up with all the BL news. The BL world moves so fast nowadays. It's
So
genuinely a little terrifying.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it kind of just got us all reflecting on how we used to keep up with this stuff and how much that has changed and how some of these things really haven't changed. So we have a brilliant topic on deck. Carola, which cat is causing problems?
Celebi.
Celebi.
Her full name is Celebration, but she is a menace.
Yeah, they're celebrationally and jubilationally.
Celebi and Jubilee, yes.
Oh.
This is Celebi.
Little scratchies. I'm gonna give her little scratchies like that. There you go.
My baby. So we're gonna talk about how we've kept abreast in I have an English degree.
Leave me alone. It's okay. Actually, can you just do the introduction? I'm gonna go lock my front door just in case someone decides to walk in. I just realized I live in danger.
Go.
Get out of here.
So we're going to talk about how we used to keep up and how we currently keep up with all the BL news. But let's take this opportunity. Tylor, again, I feel like so many people that know me know you because I talk about you all the time. I hope that doesn't sound weird.
It's mutual, Queen. Don't worry.
Wow.
Yes. So do you want to tell our audience a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. For folks who may remember me, I was one of the original co-founders, and I was the former CEO of the original Yaoi Crate that launched over the pandemic before we ended up selling it. But now I am the co-founder of Blue Petal Media, your home for the stories that you love, as we like to say. We became public. We kind of like let folks peek around the curtain for Blue Petal around the summertime. We announced that we were here we are, and here's kind of like what we're doing. So really excited to be here. Long-time listener of the show. God, I mean, I think you were launching the show at the exact same time that we launched Yaoi Crate, somewhere around there.
So actually, one of our first collabs was in the first Yaoi Crate. There's a pin that says "Proud Fujo," and I designed that pin.
Oh, yay!
That's right. Yes. Yep.
So,
I have it somewhere around here.
I still I'm looking at it right now. It's on my Yaoi themed pin banner.
Yeah.
So like when I say there is no Yaoi Shelf without Tylor, like this is literally what I mean. It's like one of the first people to really give us a chance to look at us seriously and not just like, here are two dumb girls being loud.
Never.
Like, genuinely, I wouldn't be the designer that I am. I wouldn't be the podcaster I am without that initial vote of confidence. So, long time coming. Happy to repay that.
Yeah.
I still have every single rose that I received in my Yaoi crate. They're all in a jar.
Yeah.
There were roses?
They were like, yeah.
There were little rose petals.
Oh.
I still have every single I have every single one. They're all in one jar because I'm very normal.
Of course.
Well, I used to pop on the Yaoi Shelf every time a new episode came on while I was talking to licensors and publishers as we were, getting stories and like rights to like make merch and stuff. So I definitely, you all have been in, and now Carola, now that you're on the show, you both have just been in my head. Even I've never not listened to the show. So love you both.
Oh, thank
you. So, I think sometimes it's easy to take for granted that anyone we bring on the show is, of course, a foojin. But Tylor, do you want to talk a little bit about your journey to the BL world? Because, Carola and I have talked about ours all the time, and I think it's important to get a baseline. You can learn a lot about a person based on their journey.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I was going into high school in 2005, 2006. And, my entire life I've been somebody who's like struggled with his sexuality, not knowing where I kind of like fell on the spectrum. And I kind of found out about anime around the same time that a lot of people did, around that 2005, 2006 era. Naruto was on. I remember walking around. Yeah, I remember walking around high school with my Naruto headband on.
Yeah, I did that too.
Who didn't, right?
I mean, I had mine in my belt hoops, so because my head is really small.
My head was too big, so we evened each other out. But yeah, so I mean, I was the co-founder of my high school anime club with my friend Laura, and I remember one time we need to get like former high school anime club founder like groups together and just talk about the drama. Anyway. But I remember sitting at the lunch table one day, and I was just, Laura was somebody who was a really good friend of mine, and she knew kind of where I was on like my journey with my sexuality and everything. And one time I just like spat it out. I was just like, I wish that I could read stories about gay men but like in manga. And she was like, why don't you just read yaoi? and I was like, I don't know what that word means. What? And so sure enough, like she explained what, we called it yaoi at the time. She explained, what it was. And I was like, whoa, hold on. I can read stories about people and like help me find where I fell in like the spectrum, but in like a medium that makes me like comfortable, right? In an art style that I resonate with. And immediately I was like, I need to go to Hastings. I asked my dad to take me to Hastings. We walked around, and I've been told that Hastings is a small, was a small chain, but it was very similar to like Borders, if I remember correctly.
I've heard of Hastings.
Of the show.
Yeah. So I walked around there, and I found June was the first BL label or like imprint that I read something from. I don't remember what the first title was. I've tried to go back and like remember like which title I actually read first. I think I've narrowed it down to Antique Bakery because every time I read it, I'm like, oh, my heart, I think it's that one. So something like that. But yeah, and I've never looked back since. It's also, my story is why I kind of take offense when there's that criticism of like queer fetishization or like, all of this stuff, because I've heard from many folks in Japan, many gay men in Japan who also credit BL for helping them find their sexuality. And that's how I feel. That's exactly how I feel. I wouldn't have been able to find where I fell on that spectrum without BL. So I'm always the first to be like, let's nuance this conversation just a smidge, and let me tell you my story. So,
Thank you for your service.
It's like you've been hearing us complain about it for 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
like, oh my god, yeah, we're not gonna spend a whole lot of time on that,
No.
but I'm like, I could feel like an aneurysm coming on because I've been dead to the world again.
Yes,
And every time I go on Twitter, like they have these little summaries now about like what's going on. And apparently we're back in the hellscape of BL versus Western because of the whole that hockey drama and everything.
Yep.
And I'm like, go away. This was a thing. They did this in Japan in 1993. There's something called a queer contact zone. Please refer to earlier Yaoi Shelf episodes. We've now heard from a literal gay man who is not me and Amanda.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
You are the authority on this subject.
And we appreciate it so much. I'm also super down to get like a reunion of former high school and college anime club presidents.
Yeah.
Because, so fun fact, I took over my college anime club in a literal coup d'etat.
Whoa.
No one is surprised by this. I think
my senpais were former founders. And the new president let things go astray. They were just like basement nerds watching anime in a dark room. And it's like, no, we're bringing back analysis. We're bringing back culture. So I used an older version of the Constitution that my senpais wrote, brought it to student council, and ousted the president.
Whoa. I mean, that's a BL waiting to happen.
Yeah, and also this is some serious like student government stuff happening. Like Norwegian schools don't have clubs like that. We don't have anything, and no one takes the student council seriously. At least not when I was in school. So this is wild to me. This is just like,
no,
what do you mean?
I pulled up an older version of the Constitution and said technically this is in violation, and by that regard, I vote to oust the president, and I took over the organization.
There you go.
Like, what if you did that now? Can you just like do that now?
With the American government?
Yeah.
Go to our local schools.
I'd love to, but I don't think I'm going to get very far.
I wish.
I'd vote for you. I mean, I can't, but.
Thank you. So as we mentioned, we are really in a golden age of BL news and BL in general. I said this last year, and I hold on to this take. I think we are very, very close to like the internal BL bubble bursting. Like, not necessarily the industry itself. I don't think the industry is going to collapse, but I think we are going to reach like peak BL fandom probably within the next year or so, like that. That doesn't mean we're going anywhere. We will be here until the end of the world.
I mean, I think especially those of us who lived through the dark ages, we're not going anywhere. We've lived through so much BS. Like, you can't get rid of me now.
No.
I live in the wall.
Yeah. Well, and to your point, I mean, that's one of the reasons why we started Blue Petal. Not only Blue Petal as a company, Blue Petal Media doesn't just, service BL fans. We know that it's going to be a large segment of our audience, but we're the place to celebrate BLGL and the place to really super serve those communities and fandoms like shoujo and josei, because we see that there's like a large fragmented experience that not only BL fans, but all these other fans who aren't like the shonen S level title, fans, they're not experiencing. And so we're excited to be able to create that kind of place through some of the things that we're working on for everybody to come together to celebrate your BL fandom, your GL fandom, being a fan of like shoujo and josei, just because we see that as well. We see there's a lot going on, but we need to bring everybody together.
Absolutely. And we've talked about this in previous episodes, that the idea of like this super segmented fan, the fan that only does this, the fan that only does that. While we all have leanings and preferences, we're also all complex human beings with varied interests. So I love that message. I think it's great. Also, Carola, can you not die when we have a nice guest on?
I'm trying, but see, my lungs chose to collapse this week, so I literally cannot get any oxygen.
But can you not embarrass us in front of this like excellent guest that we have?
I'm sorry, Tyler.
No, you're fine, Queen. Don't worry.
I'm just trying my best not to die.
It feels like I'm back at home. It's like, hi, my friend is over. Can you not be weird? Like,
No,
Okay.
you know how I get when we have nice people over. I just really have to be at my worst.
Flashback to us with Dr. Thomas.
Oh
Just like if we
god.
don't talk, we won't be weird.
Oh.
If we let him do all the talking, we can't be weird.
And then him coming in right as I said something incredibly unhinged. Yes.
Correct. So, we just got our Spotify creator wrapped. Firstly, thank you all
Thank
for
you.
listening. We had 110% growth over last year.
We did.
Where's the fireworks emoji? Let's go.
Thank you guys so much. But with that, we have a pretty good idea of our audience segment. And while I think Carola and I sometimes take for granted that a lot of our listeners are, around our age, old, fossilized.
God.
A good chunk of our audience actually was not there for a lot of this older aspect of fandom.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to say when we talk about like the early days and everything like that, we're still talking like 2000s. We're not going all the way back to like physical bulletin boards and stuff like that because we weren't alive.
No.
So we're not going to go all the way back.
Yeah.
As much as I would have loved to witness, our queen Takemiya Keiko as she was publishing Kazutoki no Uta, I was not. No, I did not exist yet.
So we're talking mostly like early 2000s to today, just to set, a little timeline. I'm thinking like Jurassic Park, in the parks where they have like the history of dinosaurs.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I'm totally neurotypical.
Yeah. No, I'm also very neurotypical. You had me at Jurassic Park, sweetheart.
Yeah. Now I'm like dinosaurs. Where's the dinosaur BL?
I was gonna say
there is a vegetable one.
There is, but that's a shoujo. There's a schoolgirl who falls in love with a dinosaur. I was reading that for a while. And then there is a Thai BL called Love Like a Dinosaur, I think, or Dinosaur Love, which I did start watching, and then I fell off because I'm useless. There aren't any, as far as I saw, there weren't any dinosaurs in it, though.
I hate that you unlocked this fact in my head. But scientists, they're always trying to figure out why T-Rex had such little arms.
Yes.
And one of the main theories is that the little tickle arms, even though they were quite strong, were used for like cuddling during mating.
Oh.
Yeah, I hate that you unlocked that. That's been in my brain for like 20 years. Damn you.
I mean, that's cute.
Yeah.
I like that.
Early days of fandom, we're talking like early 2000s. The internet is an incredibly different place. I cannot stress how important word of mouth was. And exactly as Tylor said in his story, it takes one friend. We all have like our one friend who showed us the dark side.
I was the friend.
Yeah, Carola was the friend. I became that friend after I was shown into that world. Her name was Ashley.
Ashley.
Thank you, Ashley.
Let's go.
So we all, when I talk about like the name of the show being the Yaoi Shelf, it was because of that very communal idea of all of us as fans gathered around like the one shelf in Hastings and Borders, in Walden Books. Because Barnes and Noble at the time was too good for BL. They could still sell Sports Illustrated, but they were too good for BL back in the day. You didn't hear me say that.
And now look at them. Now you can't find like
now they're
every other title on the shelf is almost a BL. I'm always like, oh, yep, there's that. Oh, okay, great. There's Kuma right there.
No, they held off for literal decades because we're a higher learning institution of like classic literature. No, you're not. I've read your Christian romantasy books. Anyways, so word of mouth was so important. What?
No, I'm just like, what are you saying that titles like, oh no. Nah. Juby's doing something terrible. No, like, amazing. Are you saying that titles that were, especially the early ones, the early tragedies that were set in European high class boarding schools. Like, what? That's not highbrow literature now. Excuse me.
No, it's not. But like 30 Harlequin romances, those are fine.
Yes.
But word of mouth was so important. We were especially in the West, we were a very, very physical fandom. You learn about new things by talking. Again, we had an anime club. We swapped doujin and manga like they were precious gems. And I don't think my library would have been as advanced as it was early in the years if it wasn't for that like Fujin gathering that I had of physical people. And that was so important back in those days.
Yeah. Like you bringing this up kind of makes me wonder, have we seen a decline in anime clubs? Like, we kind of had those as a necessity to bring people together, right?
Right.
Because at least at that time, 2005, 2006, I was very barely online. I don't think we got our computer, like a home computer, until 2007, maybe 2008, something like that. And so having that high school anime club was really the only opportunity that I could interact with other anime and manga fans, let alone, BL specifically, or like these niched down genres. But it does make you wonder, with like everybody having such ease of accessibility in your pocket, I wonder if we have seen a decline in the necessity for those kind of like in-person opportunities to have an anime club.
So I have half an answer, and I can say this like being a Texan, because Texas has one of the strongest anime like communities ever. We have we had at least most of the major publishing houses here. One big thing that took over for a lot of high school anime clubs were libraries, where they would start like a little anime and manga club. And it was great, especially for kids, because I think we've all talked about this in different corners, where it's like, I especially feel bad for parents nowadays who are totally unfamiliar with this stuff, and your kid just pops up, yeah, I love Jujutsu Kaisen, and it's like, oh, that's super violent, and maybe you don't need to be watching that.
Yeah, how do you spell that, son?
Right. What?
What did you just say to me?
What? That a spell? What?
But like compare it though to, because now, like we talked about, it's not only the BL market that is so stuffed and like so oversaturated, but like there's so much manga and anime out there. But again, in our time, in those times, your kid wouldn't come home talking about Jujutsu Kaisen, but they sure as hell would have seen something completely insane, like Akira at an early age, or like again, may I bring up the time we were at a birthday party and we were watching Ninja Resurrection, which is basically just a hentai but with murder.
Sick.
And we didn't know that, because it was like, oh, it's an anime, let's just watch it, it has ninjas, that's cool. And then there was like
gratuitous breast and blood.
And she's gone. Oh, for fuck's sake.
So at least like in Texas, and I'm sure in other states as well, I've seen libraries step up for that. So you get like the one nerdy librarian, and we've actually had librarians like tell us that like, hey, we listened to this show and everything like that, which shout out to the librarians, we love you.
Love you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've seen a lot of librarians take over that space, at least like for kids getting into high school. I think high school, college, we've probably lost it a little bit. I know the anime club I modeled ours after at UT Arlington, I think theirs disbanded forever ago. My college no longer has an anime club from what I remember. But yeah, like I also feel like we're so mainstream, it feels weird that we would need like a segregated space for that. Go deal with the cat.
I'm gonna save my PlayStation.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think I'm trying. I know that my college anime club it was like anime and Japanese culture club.
Same, mine.
Yeah, and I think it was tied though to the folks who were in the Japanese minor. It wasn't so much like a bunch of fans coming together to like. We were definitely, I was a music composition major and a philosophy minor or something like that. So I was able to join, but the vast majority of my college anime and Japanese culture club that I was part of, they were all just like Japanese minors. and so it was like, oh, okay, they're doing it to be part of it, but it was like almost a requirement for them. Whereas like there were definitely like a handful of us who were like, we're just weebs. Like we just want to talk about anime.
I think that very neatly brings us to like the early convention scene. And we talked about the BLCon scene in a previous episode. The interesting thing about the BLCon scene, especially in those early days, again, we're talking like 2000s, is it felt a lot like the Hunger Games. Like we would send a representative. We would send like that one older friend or like the boyfriend or girlfriend of the one friend. Because, you know, it's high school. So everyone had like that sketchy 20-year-old boyfriend.
Always.
Always.
It's so American.
I mean, we didn't know. See, we didn't have cons.
Yeah,
we did have the 20-year-old boyfriends.
Yeah. So,
no, I will say, I've said this before. This is Scandinavia, this is Norway, and it's much more socially accepted here. Yeah. So,
right.
I mean, also we're talking about me growing up in North Texas, where it's like Friday Night Lights. So you know, the 20-year-old boyfriend is usually like a Transformers movie extra,
right?
And just super gross and sketchy.
God.
Like, yeah, our ideas of like the 15-year-old with the 20-year-old boyfriend are very different.
I think so. Not to say that that we don't have time to go into all of that, but I will give you a course on it later.
I look forward to it.
Bonus episode.
So I remember us having almost this like Hunger Games system of like, oh, you send your one friend or you know like one person and they go to con and then they bring like information back like they're spies.
Right.
It's like, oh, I went to con, I went to all the panels. I just sat in the panel room. I went to all the panels. And then they bring back and like dole out information like a scribe.
Almost. Yeah.
And that was a person you took very good care of. You needed that person because a lot of us, I mean, I started going to cons relatively, I mean, 20s feels like young, but it's not really, I guess. Like most of us, I mean, I started being an anime fan when I was like 12. I wasn't going to cons then.
No. God, no. No, even in high school. I went to high school in Colorado, and our biggest convention was called NandesCon, and I think it's still, I'm almost certain it's still going now. But we had a couple of people from our high school anime club who would go, and it was like the Holy Land. We all just like dreamt of it. I lived an hour and a half away. My dad was like, I'm not taking you to some dumb and I was like, all right, that's fine, I get it. But like it might as well have been in another state. It felt like at the time. But we had a couple of friends who would go, and it was just like, tell us everything, and they would booths, and it was at the time where it wasn't so like corporate. Like obviously now with Anime Expo and Anime NYC and Frontier and all these different conventions, with anime and manga being so mainstream now, you have these huge booths and big displays and major companies. There's money behind anime and manga now. Whereas like I would come back, or my friends would come back and tell me from NandesCon, it's like, oh yeah, there was a guy with 2 tables worth of VHSs you could buy that had 3 episodes. And it was like, 3 episodes? Let's go. Let's go.
No, that was me. It's like, oh my God, I went to like Anime Fest and there was a guy with a Honda Civic, and in the back of his trunk, he had bootleg DVDs. And
not the Honda Civic again.
And each of them had 4 episodes. 4 whole episodes?
Yeah.
And like it's all written in Sharpie.
You're just, like, again, we didn't have that, but I will say I did have the glorious pleasure ones of taking home. I was 12. And I took a friend home from school. That was the guy who turned out to be my boyfriend for all through my teenage years. This is how I got him, okay? I brought him home. We went into my room. He said hi to my cat, and then he looked at all of these VHS tapes that were recorded off the TV that were just sitting around everywhere. And he was like, you have a lot of VHS tapes. And I'm like, oh yeah, these are all recordings of the Pokemon anime, because I would get up every Saturday and Sunday morning and record every single episode. And he was like, oh my God, you have every single episode of Pokemon. I'm like, yeah, up until the Johto League. And he was like, so wow. I was that person.
You were the one with the Honda Civic.
Yeah, except I didn't. I still can't drive, and I was 12.
But that person was so important. And again, it speaks to that physical nature of fandom. That if you didn't have IRL connections, you just weren't getting very far. And I think, you know, when we talk about the title of the show being the Yaoi Shelf, that communal space that we all had in our respective bookstores, I cannot imagine navigating BL fandom, especially that early on, without those physical friends that I had to get me started. It's amazing to think about.
I think for me, obviously, again, this is a cultural difference. For me, the internet was like, it was everything because, again, I was the friend. I was the one who discovered these things and then gave them to my friends. And we got published Celebi. And we got, you know, we got English manga, and especially like BL manga in English a lot later. So, you know, again, there's that whole process. They get licensed in the US, they get translated, and then it takes like, I don't know, a year, and then we'll get them here. So for us, like the internet and the online communities and getting news from Western fans in particularly in the US and Spain was important. That was paramount because we didn't have anything here. So I think it depends on where you are. But then, of course, distributing that info and like telling each other, like, oh, have you heard about this thing? Oh, you don't? Well, I have it recorded. I can show you. And that was how we would share it.
Wow.
I think. No, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say even before I had, you know, access to a computer or the internet or something like that. And when it was like that lull in between conventions, you know, NandasCon was only once a year. It wasn't until the creation of specific BL imprints and how those books were like branded that really helped me. Right.
Absolutely.
Early fans or, you know, maybe more recent fans won't know that when digital manga started releasing like BL titles, they weren't branded Junei. Like the Junei imprint didn't exist. I have a huge collection of digital manga books that are BL, but they're just under the digital manga imprint.
Yeah, I was going to say that earlier when you mentioned Antique Bakery, because I'm pretty sure it's under the DMP label.
Probably. I mean, and it had like the scratch and sniff. I still have the scratch and sniff on it.
I got them secondhand like a few years ago, and they were also scratch and sniff. So I finally got to understand what Amanda was talking about.
I have the scratch and sniff covers, and they're amazing.
No, and I still, and even when I go to a bookstore now, I still prioritize looking for the BL specific imprints. Like I'll like Blue, when Blue was around, I would just look for, okay, where's the Junei, where's the Blue, where's the Junei, where's the Blue. And now I'm like, okay, where's the Kuma? Seven Seas is a little more difficult because they don't like brand it on like the spine, but you can always like kind of tell where the BL is. But those like specific BL brands, I'm always like, I'm like, oh, this makes and that was how I got my news, where I was like, oh, cool, this is a Junei title that I don't recognize. This must be a new one. Bless, here we go. Let's try this out.
And of course, you know, Carola talking about the internet. We don't want to make it sound like the internet didn't exist back then. It did. It was very, very different. You know, at that time, I was publishing Smut Lemons on Quizzilla. As you do.
Yeah.
So the internet did exist. We had very, very early fan sites, like dedicated like character and series fan sites. I remember following a bunch of them for Full Metal Alchemist, and that was really, really fun back in the day. And then also early forums. You know, I've mentioned I was a DJ and moderator on Gendo.com.
Wow. Wow, that's gonna age us.
I mean, at least you did. I said nothing. I have said nothing.
Yeah, I was a radio host and DJ on Gendo.
Wow.
And a mod. I'm still a mod on their Discord server.
Let's go.
I can't believe they have a Discord server.
We do. We do, because the old site doesn't work as well as it used to. But you can still download some music. Because that's how old I am. But those early forums were so important. that we wouldn't have gotten half of what we know without the importance of dedicated sites that were built like in basic HTML, and they were all beautiful for some reason. And our forums. I think we've lost the art of foruming a little bit because we have
100%.
social media, but that's a conversation for another day.
I mean, I was never shocking absolutely nobody, considering how I hate being social anywhere, even on the internet. I've never been good at like using forums and posting and writing comments and having long conversations. But obviously, we cannot mention the forum part without mentioning our Lord and Savior, our Queen, Odd in Fantasy. But like the day you discovered Odd in Fantasy, the world changed, because that is like that community, like this is it's a perfect example. There's someone out there who's like, this is my fantasy, I am obsessed with this, I will dedicate a site and create the largest at the time and possibly still archive of original works, and especially doujins and direct downloads, live action movies, and collection of all the ovas that exist. And even to this day, like there are people keeping these links alive who go in, and when the link has expired because the friggin' download site doesn't exist anymore, someone will come in and upload it somewhere else. And that changed everything for me. Like that's when I realized how much BL was out there, and there was a place you could go and it would always be there.
For sure. Next up is the Tumblr era. We're gonna breeze through this. Yeah, that size why we're gonna breeze through this a little bit, because raise your hand if you're a veteran survivor of some of the Tumblr wars.
Hey, let's go.
I mean, I was an innocent bystander.
I was neck up in Super Hulock, so I.
Oh, wow.
Can I also just say that, like, unrelated to fandom and BL, that I now get triggered if I hear something that even remotely sounds like "Do you love the colors of the sky?" Like, no, I don't want to see that post ever again in my life.
So we're gonna breeze through the Tumblr era a little bit, just because we all have PTSD. But I think one of the things I liked about the Tumblr era, this is like your 2009s to maybe like 2015, 2016.
Yep.
Whenever they banned porn, this is when it died.
I think that was even earlier, actually. I think that was
it might have been.
Yeah.
But one of the things I remember liking a lot about the Tumblr era was it was so nice to actually get input from Japan. I think one thing that was always interesting about being a Western fan, especially in the US, was, I'm going to make a very, very long D. Gray Man reference. It felt like the two distinct branches of like their military. There was like the Eastern branch and there was the Western branch. And like neither of them spoke to each other. Like one was off doing its own weird shit. The other was off doing its own weird shit. And never did they connect. And that's how fandom felt for a long time, was that Western fandom was its own weird burgeoning thing. That yes, our stuff came from Japan, but we didn't talk to Japan. We didn't understand what was going on. We didn't care about mangaka or anything like that.
Spoiler, we have somehow returned to that hellscape, but we're not going to talk about that.
You're not going to talk about that. But I remember social media being super important during that time. So like your early Twitters, I remember at that time, Funimation had a very, very viral Google Plus.
Wow, Google
Plus. Like Google Plus, I forget that was a thing.
Same. I was like,
they
what?
had a very, very viral Google Plus.
I think my brain has just like decided that Google Plus is actually just LinkedIn. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
And yeah, it being really, really nice to get like some early input from Japan. We weren't getting a ton. And again, especially from the West, we weren't listening. So like, even if we had more input from Japan, we were still off doing our own thing. We weren't really listening.
But I think another thing that's very interesting about the Tumblr era is that because this is when obviously we were teens in the early 2000s, like even earlier, like in the forum days, in the live journal days, right? And I grew up on LiveJournal, and so for me, it's like every so often you'd come across someone posting their photos from their holiday in Japan, or like posting what they'd bought, and someone who had either been themselves or who knew someone who had been, and then they would post like, "Oh, I got this BL manga," or "I got this merch," or whatever. And then sometimes people would sell their merch in like communities. And that was like our only connection. And then we were maybe like 15, 16, dreaming of the day that we would actually get to experience this ourselves. So come the Tumblr era, a lot of our, like the LiveJournal generation, are now old enough to go to Japan. And so there's that intersection where a lot of the input from the Japanese side comes from our compatriots who went... They grew up on LiveJournal. They went to Japan. They studied in Japan, worked in Japan, or whatever, and they posted about the fandom life in English on Tumblr from Japan. And so, you know, it gave us a new dimension and a much bigger reach, because I do feel like a lot of the things that we already covered, especially stuff like Audience Fantasy, I feel like everyone knew Audience Fantasy, but I also think that a lot of these things were really well kept secrets for like, you had to be in the group. Like if you didn't know about it, then, and Tumblr changed that, I think, for better and worse.
Yeah. There was a time where being a yaoi fan did feel like you were in your own little like anime club, and it's just like your weird circle jerk of friends. And it was very, very hard to penetrate like that outer layer to get in.
Penetrate.
I was trying. God damn it, Tyler.
Children.
It was right there.
It was. But it was hard. Like those barriers to entry were woman, I am trying.
I'm sorry.
Were very, very difficult to get into. And like I feel like Tumblr, for better or worse, democratize that.
And I feel the same way about MySpace. When we got a computer, like a home computer, the first thing I did after, of course, using the family email to set up this account, I made a MySpace. And I just went ham on there because I found out that it wasn't just people with their own personal MySpaces, but you could create MySpace pages for things that you were passionate about. So I used to run like a Naruto fan site, like MySpace, that would like sort you, because I was also a really big Harry Potter fan, that would like sort you into like your different villages, and we would do like quizzes and stuff.
Oh my God.
There were so many things, because I was just like, this is how I can engage with people. This is now, because our high school anime club, our little group of friends, it was small, but at the click of a mouse, I was now on a platform that I could connect with other fans of this, of people who had that same kind of like reverence for Japan and the content coming from Japan. That's really where it was like, oh, now I do want to kind of know who Yoshinaga Sensei is. Like now I do want to know who's the artist behind this title that I love.
Yeah.
And
it was like a really, really brilliant turning point for some of us fans. I love that. And then during the Tumblr era, of course, the con scene was still important. I think this is also around the time where we start getting like big name guests coming to America. And like, if you did not go to cons, you were not seeing these people. They would appear once randomly in a podunk like city in Nebraska. For whatever reason, that con director worked their ass off, managed to snag like one of the biggest mangaka ever to do a 2-hour panel in Bumshart, Nebrahoma. And then they would never come back to America.
Can you make that a sticker? Like,
yeah. I think I have family there.
Yeah. I know like that happens in Texas a lot. Like we got the Japanese crew and English VA cast of Space Dandy.
Whoa.
Like as it was happening. Wow. We got to see an episode live. What were y'all doing in Dallas?
I remember this, like, I don't remember where this was, though. I don't know what con this was. But I remember, like, two of my one of them is now my friend. The other is a mutual on various social platforms. Like, these are two, like, fanfic authors who I absolutely, like, Naruto fanfic authors who I absolutely adored growing up, reading their stuff. And then I started following them on various communities, and then they had decided that they wanted to meet up in real life, so they were going to go to a con together, and then they were like on LiveJournal or whatever, talking about how after the con they'd gone to a bar and they were like having drinks with Kiba from Naruto, like the voice actor, but it was the American one, as it turned out. But it was like it was just like it was such a weird no, but it was just so weird because they're like, so there we were having drinks with Kiba. I'm like, what is happening over there?
Well, and that happens a lot in Texas because we, Funimation used to be a thing for better or worse. So like that would happen all the time at like the big Texas cons where it's like, oh, I'm going across the street to go grab a Starbucks. Is that
Deku?
Is Yuri Lowenthal here? What the fuck?
Well, at least it's not Dirty Uncle Vic. Like
I almost said Dirty Uncle Vic, but then I got triggered. But like, yeah, like the con scene was still important. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I don't know if we could actually source when this happened, but being BL fans around this time, even before this, when did the Yaoi paddle get introduced? Because
2000 and
right, it has to be early.
It was early 2000s. I know that.
Yeah, like I mean, obviously I don't go there, but I did have to do a lot of research on it because as a Norwegian, finding out about the Yaoi paddle and then being like, what the hell is happening?
I go there.
Please. I had to do research. I would say it's somewhere between like 2002 and 2004.
Yeah, I would agree.
Something like that, right? Because for a lot of people who weren't BL fans, and I only know this because I used to be on the events team at Crunchyroll, so I've loved hearing like the war stories and everything from like early convention times, and so a lot of folks, their main exposure to yaoi during that time was some Fujin running around the con smacking people with the yaoi paddle. And like I've even, my old boss, I asked him, I was like, tell me about how all of these conventions came together to ban yaoi paddles. And like for
someone broke their hip.
It was crushed. They had their hip crushed.
Like people got hurt.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I love that. I love that to this day, there are conventions that have that in there, like their rules. That yaoi paddles are forbidden. No, I wanted to put that. I wanted to put it in the rules of our con just because for the meme.
For the meme.
But no one would understand it
because we couldn't be. This is a small one.
Yeah.
We couldn't be trusted.
I don't understand. But see, but again, like going back, just as an aside to things we've discussed in the past, like con is not consent was not a thing yet. I think that was invented around 2012. Right. So like I also think there were no rules because I remember, again, you gotta realize that we didn't have anything. So for the cosplayers, people didn't know how to make things. There were no 3D printers. There was no foam. There was wood. People were making Buster swords and Sabusa swords and God knows what out of wood.
Out of fucking wood, yeah.
So like, why wouldn't you be able to carry that thing around? Like, there were no rules.
Yeah.
No, there weren't.
100%. And
yes.
Well, there's also like the concept of being nostalgic for like, what is it? The concept of being nostalgic for a time that you never experienced or something that was before your time, right? Mm-hmm. And so I see some folks who I know are new to like the BL fandom, within the last 10 years or so, 5 years, who are like, where can I get a yaoi paddle? Or they have a yaoi paddle themselves. And I'm like, I know you weren't around during that time. Why do you want it? And it's like that concept of like, when you find out about that little piece of BL fandom community lore, and you yourself are now somebody who's dove headfirst into this beautiful genre of BL. Yeah, why wouldn't you want a yaoi paddle, whether it's for the memes or not? Like, let's go. I feel like I need a yaoi paddle like right over here,
I'm sure Amanda can. Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Please.
I made mine out of foam for my Rotten Girl Miku cosplay this year. Do you recommend making it out of foam?
I think that's so interesting because, and I'm trying to be cognizant of time, but I know I definitely see this. Yes. So I know I see this a lot where, I'll listen to people talk to me when I panel and it's like, what were conventions like in the early 2000s? It's like awful. We got groped all the time. No one took a shower. Like there were actual swords, people just walking around with actual swords.
True.
Half of our voice actors ended up being pedos. Like it was bad. I love that you guys can romanticize it now and look at old like YaoiCon footage, but what you're not seeing is someone getting sexually assaulted in the corner. Like you're not seeing that. And I say that I wouldn't trade those con stories for the world.
Right.
I would never give those up. But yeah, listening to the youths talk about like, I miss old fandom, I miss this. No, you don't.
Listen, this morning I opened Instagram and like one of the first things I see is a mutual of mine has shared a reel that I guess was from TikTok, which is some young person being like, oh, me thinking back on the first BLs I saw that I absolutely had no business watching as a child. The first thing that comes up is fucking Love Stage.
What?
And then it was like, I was like, what?
Hold on.
You don't understand what I had to go through.
What? That's your number one?
That is, yeah. And like the last one on the list was Super Lovers, which, okay, I will give you that one maybe, but I love Super Lovers. Don't at me. But like the rest was like, it was Love Stage, Junjo Sekaiichi, and Hitori Jime My Hero. Like first of all, these are recent.
Very.
Second, that's the worst you can do. I'm having war flashbacks.
I know. Have y'all done a podcast on Boku no Pico? Like,
no.
Oh, Lord.
So actually, no spoilers. We might be talking about something very, very similar next month.
God. Talk about war stories.
I'm very excited.
Yeah, I do love and hate that about old fandom is that there's this about new fandom and old fandom is that there's this really, really big nostalgia for old fandom. And you hear me talk about it on the show. I think in a lot of ways I miss old fandom because it was at least a beast I understood. Like if someone didn't agree with my shipping manifesto and we argued, that's one thing. Being called a slur because I didn't think Yuri on Ice was the second coming of gay Jesus, I don't have defenses for that. Like
God, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Like I don't have armor to defend against, oh, this artist alley is nothing but AI art.
Yeah.
And like 3D printed little trinkets. And like, don't get me wrong, I love a 3D printed little trinket. Should you be at an artist alley? Depends on the trinket. But yeah, like I don't have defenses for the issues of new fandom. So when I hear new fans talk about like, oh my gosh, I would have loved it. Like you wouldn't last an hour in the asylum that raised me.
And I also think it's interesting that coexists together with that wave of Puritans and a moral panic that we're seeing today. Because no, you wouldn't last an hour. If you think that, you think it's problematic that someone ships something that like someone ships Bakudeku because whatever.
Yeah.
You would not be able to survive the surprise butt sex. I don't think you understand what it was like.
Yeah, if you think that Endeavor is the worst character ever, you
listen.
If Endeavor is your top abuser, you would not last.
Yeah, Lord.
Good God.
Oh my goodness.
There are trade-offs. Right, when we talk about that nostalgia that new fans have for old fandom, and at least I talk about this a lot when we're in like our Blue Petal meetings and stuff, and we're talking about BL or just community and fandom in general, which is something that Blue Petal is heavily focused on. It felt more manageable back then. There wasn't as much. But that's the trade-off, right? It felt more manageable, but then we were like starved, and we would get, a little morsel here and there, and that was exciting. But regardless, it was a time of extreme trade-offs where I felt like I was on top of everything back then. Now, as we've talked about, there's so much out there in so many different places. It's hard to like really feel like I've got a grasp on everything, especially as we're talking about like Blue Petal and like all the genres that we're going to be doing. I'm like, Lord, it's everywhere.
Yeah, and like I was thinking of this earlier today because I was shopping on a Black Friday sale. I was very happy. I managed to get 18 volumes of like stuff I was missing in my backlog, like random volume 2s and volume 12s that I missed, and like a whole bunch of stuff that I haven't been able to keep up with. And I was able to pay basically what I would have paid in 2007 for 18 volumes. I was so happy. Like I saved so much money. And of course, it's being sent in different shipments. So they've started coming in, and I now have this major like spreadsheet cataloging my entire manga library, and I'm trying to update it every time something comes in so I know what I have and what I'm missing. And then as I'm doing this, I'm like, remember when there was so little, like not just BL but like manga in general, that I would be able to remember every single title I've ever read and everything I own. And now I'm just like, I don't, where is this in my spreadsheet of 2,000 titles? Like, do I own this? It's insane.
Well, and I think I'll use that to segue us into our next point because, we talk about, I always say there was no such thing as a casual fan in the early 2000s. Like, you had to be dedicated. Raise your hand if you personally were up at 3 a.m. watching the California shift for Adult Swim.
Yeah, every time.
Yeah, if you were watching Lupin the Third at 3 a.m. because you had to be in bed by the time the 11 p.m. was on, so you sneak out of your bedroom and you go watch TV and you plug your headphones into the television.
I have done that though.
Brightness, and you turn the brightness all the way down, and you're this close to the TV. I used to sneak into my aunt's bedroom and do that. I told her that a couple of years ago, and she's like, "I never knew you did that. How long did you do that?" I'm like, "Years." I would sneak into her bedroom and plug in my headphones into the TV and watch like Trigun and Lupin the Third and Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
At like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Yes. So like, while there was no casual fan experience, you had to be very, very dedicated to the cause you were at. We didn't have to be fans of everything. And I think that's where we kind of transition to the current era where we have so much at our disposal. And with the rise of BL specific related media, and I'm including us in that, like Carola and I are very, very frequent where we talk about like our blind spots and like how we've had to overcome some of that because people look to us for news. I don't know why.
Like, why? We only got old things. Amanda is allergic to anything that came out after 2010.
Yeah.
Somebody could have died. I don't know.
Yeah. Where's the new Gravitation volume?
Yeah. I watched one anime this year, and it was the summer Hikaru died.
Oh,
and so I mean, I technically keep up with a lot of new things, but I also hoard and then binge read. So while I do own all of the new things, don't ask me about it. I have not read them.
Yeah. If we always play this game, if you went back in time and told your younger self, first of all, I'm not talking to a mentally ill teenager. But I could not imagine going back in time and telling myself at like 16, president of my anime club in high school, hey, so there are going to be BL podcasts, multiple. You are going to host one of literally many podcasts dedicated to your fictional boys kissing smut.
I think I would have told my younger self, I would go back and be like, start saving your money. You're gonna need it. There's a lot of BL about to come out.
Yeah.
Start saving.
Oh, what would I tell my younger self? We recently just got back from a trip to Japan. And a good chunk of that was dedicated to meeting with publishers and authors. And I tried to take stock of that moment. When we look back, and I think I mentioned this when like our mutual friend who would go to Nandescon, right, and come back with like the goods and like the information, and how Nandescon felt like the Holy Land. It would be wild for me to like go back to my younger self and say, hey, those books that you read backwards, you're going to be meeting with those publishers. You're going to be meeting with new new publishers. You're going to be talking about how you can bring those titles over so that people like you can have access to them. Like, I tried to take stock of that on the trip, and every time I would, it almost would bring me to tears because it was just like,
same.
Wow, what a moment.
Yeah. I definitely had that when I was in Japan. Spoiler, I'm planning my third trip because this has become the defining part of my 30s. Other people having kids, getting married. Hey, do you want to go to Hokkaido? But like, yeah, I think I would tell my younger self, do not let your aunt gaslight you into thinking that this was a phase. Because my aunt convinced me like my bisexuality that I would grow out of this. So I gave away a lot of my anime and manga when I graduated high school. I gave it to my club because she said, well, you're going to college, you're an adult now, you don't do this. And guess what? I went to college and I ended up gayer and more of an anime fan. So
there it is.
So I would say, like, yeah, don't let her gaslight you into thinking you're going to stop. One day you're going to be fucking 35 in Tokyo, just like sobbing over a Devilman statue. I'm also happy to report NandesCon is still going.
Hey,
next year in Aurora, and I want to apply to be a panelist.
I'm just saying, come on out. We'll fly Carola out.
Yeah, let's go.
I'm just saying, NandesCon, if you're listening, I love. You have made this convention sound like the best thing ever, and now I want to go. Y'all's website is so cute.
Wait, let me look it up.
Well, and I think that's the other part of it, right? Is and again, I hate to keep bringing this up, but we have, in our meetings, our like Blue Petal meetings, I talk about what's our convention scene like circuit going to look like come, 2026, 2027. And of course, we're always like, okay, of course, Anime Expo or Anime NYC. But to your point, Amanda, what you were talking about earlier, Texas, I'm like, we have to go to Texas. Like that has the biggest anime scene. It also has like the biggest BL scene. Like, what we need to make sure that we're going to Texas. And I remember that a lot of the big companies, Crunchyroll, Sentai, all of them, Funimation, when they were around, they would focus, they would go to Texas, they would go to like the coastal stuff, but very rarely would they go inward, right? And that, like, I went to NandesCon, I think 2 years ago, and that's exactly what it felt like. It was like small folks. It was local vendors. Like, there was an 18+ section that had Dojin. I was like, this is untouched right now.
Where we need to be. Yeah. No, 100%. And like, even now, like with my life in Texas as a Texas panelist, I still rather go to like smaller conventions that are untouched. Cause like, Funimation, RIP, Crunchyroll, everyone, like they'll bombard Dallas every weekend, in fucking Dallas has a Crunchyroll thing going on. But like nothing's happening out in Fredericksburg. Nothing's happening out in other parts of South Texas. So like, I much rather do like an UshiCon or something like that. Or I really had fun at Colossal Con. Which is the only con Carola wants to go to because it's Bikini Con.
No, I want to go to many cons. I just think that Colossal Con, because it's free con. Okay,
it's free con.
It's free con. I'm just here for the swimming.
Yes,
please.
But this current era is so interesting because one thing I love, and you'll see this if you look at like the Yaoi Shelf social media accounts, is how much we are relying on social media accounts run by the publishers. What the fuck? I could never have imagined June having a Twitter. No. I could never have imagined these companies having social presence. And that occasionally will talk to you like you're a person. Some don't. Some are rather imperious, but we're not going to talk about those. But like, some of these companies will talk to you like you matter to them.
Yeah, and it's so funny to see like some of them bantering with the followers in the comments, and when they do things like Futekia Fest and when they go to CitrusCon and similar events and they do their announcement panels or whatever, just how human they are. And that is just so obvious that the passion that goes into, because they are fans themselves working on this, and they know the community, and a lot of them, the spokespeople, are the same people that go to all of these events and kind of get to know the audience, almost not on a personal level, but on a more on a one-to-one level.
Right. I definitely think there's something to be said about, now it's Fujin that are working industries, because I know the comic book industry had this problem for a while. It was people that didn't care about comic books, so we had those hilarious just absolute dark ages where it was super commercialized and no one liked Superman or Batman anymore. We have weebs working in weeb industries now.
Yep, that's it.
People that work in the industry are all weebs like me. So now we get to do the thing that we've always wanted to do. Again, host shows, work at Crunchyroll, work at Viz.
Own your own Blue Petal.
Yeah, own Blue Petal.
Yeah, it's something that I'm so excited for, because you can always tell, fans can always tell when there's an inauthenticity to being spoken to about something that they're passionate about. And this is why when we were building Blue Petal and some of the initiatives that we're working on, the first thing I'm always we need a team that is passionate about this thing, because there are a lot of industry people, right? I know that a lot of people have come from Hulu and stuff like that, but at its core, we need fans to talk to fans. We need people who are going to get up on a panel and be very excited about this and walk off the panel and fangirl with you. That's what these industries need.
Yeah, we need. I mean, to bring up something incredibly recent that I actually don't ever want to talk about ever again, but these types of people, these fans who work in these industries, would not, in fact, allow an AI dub of Banana Fish.
God. Oh my God.
No, I don't want to talk about it. Have I not suffered enough?
Can we talk about that old head sigh that all of us just...
It's wild.
I didn't mention it. I think someone mentioned it in Discord, and I'm out of respect, I know Carola's all over this. I know she is. I know the universe alerted her already.
Yes, unfortunately, this was one of the few things from the universe that I unfortunately got to see this last week, as I was in editing hell and barely caught anything. But of course, this came to my attention. I'm not okay.
No. One of our contacts that we met with in Tokyo, we went out to lunch and we were just talking about different titles, and she was like, "I love Banana Fish," because I asked her, I was like, "What is your favorite manga?" And she was like, "Banana Fish." And so when all this was going down, I'm like, "Ooh, do I reach out and do I say "Hey, look at this shit," or do I just save her that trouble of listening to that terrible? I saw one of the fight scenes and I was like, cringe.
I will not touch it. I am not.
No.
I feel bad. I know Hayao Miyazaki says that he's retiring every 3 seconds and then he goes and makes another blockbuster movie. I hate that, in his later years, AI is what he has to be angry about.
Yeah.
I hate that, that man is old. He is going to die. We have limited time with him. I hate how much of that limited time we have is him saying, "Please stop making Studio Ghibli cartoons using ChatGPT." I hate that. We need to do an entire AI episode.
No.
I know you.
Oh, poor Carola.
I'm so sad. I don't want to do it.
It's list of episodes Carola isn't excited about. The Junjo special talking about AI.
Oh no.
But there are so dedicated podcasts and YouTube channels and social media accounts to this stuff, and I love it. we have simulpubs. Again, you go back in time, tell me at 14, hey, something is going to come out at the same time as it did in Japan. So, you know, like that lag, that perpetual Inuyasha loop that you were in, where you kept getting filler after filler after filler, and then it would go back to the very first episode because they ran out of episodes. And they did that for 20 years.
You know, I don't know if I mentioned this, but I mean, because we also did this, like the Norwegian dubs would do this. But I think one of my favorite things was because I was watching Pokemon on multiple channels because the Norwegian, the Swedish dub, I think was like a little ahead of us or something. So I watched them simultaneously, and I would watch because I am a huge rocket shipper, and I would watch in both languages so I could, you know, make notes of all of the great moments between them. And my little cousin would watch it they had some weird German channel. So he would watch it in German, even though he didn't understand German. And he would be like, oh, Misty just got her egg. And I'm like, what do you mean? What egg? You know, because it hadn't happened here yet. But then the Norwegian channel that aired this would basically do this thing where they looped the Indigo League into oblivion. And then they started Orange. And they bought like half of the Orange League, and then they hadn't bought the rest, so they started looping again. And then all of a sudden, they bought Johto, but they never finished the Orange League. And I was over here like, what? Which is why I didn't have all of it taped because they just decided to dump like half a series.
Yeah.
Because they don't understand it. It's like, oh, it's cartoon. It's for children. So you don't need to see the continuation. Who cares, right? I cared a lot.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Carola's like, why is Misty carrying this like half egg thing? Who the hell is this?
Like, if you ever want to get me on a tangent at Inuyasha, feel free. I'm not going to do that here because none of y'all deserve that.
I've heard of it. We didn't have it.
And then we're gonna bring back the series. We're gonna canonize the worst decision Rumiko Takahashi ever made.
Now. It's okay.
Future
it's
episode.
not. Yeah, future episode. But you know, I admit this, like as a podcaster, as a fan, yeah, like I get major imposter syndrome sometimes when I do this show because it's like, oh, I can't keep up. I'm just a mentally ill middle-aged person
who hates new things.
That's one way to put it, I guess.
It doesn't have the emotional capital to be hurt by new things. It's not that I hate new things. You saw how much I love The Summer Hikaru Died. I don't hate new things. It's that after Yuri on Ice, I don't have the emotional capacity to be hurt by new shows anymore. I have finite free time. I'm a hardworking man. And when I get off of work, I don't want to risk starting some bland ass fucking series that doesn't do anything for me. I don't have time for that. I'd rather watch fucking Taki Ryzen get plowed into the mattress by Klaus von Wolfstadt over and over again when I get off of work like a normal person.
Yeah.
Then risk picking up some bland as hell. And they hold hands at the end and everything. Fuck off.
Can I share a piece of Tylor lore?
Yes.
Please. When I was at Crunchyroll, I oversaw the Crunchyroll movie night program. So putting different theatrical films, like it was Crunchyroll's theatrical distribution arm. And I was the one that, with the help of some amazing folks and our brand managers and everything, I was the one that put the Yuri on Ice marathon in theaters all across the US and Canada. So people sat in theaters for, I think it was like 4 hours. 4.5 hours.
It's 4 hours. It's a 12 episode series.
Watching Yuri on Ice. That was all me. I had to send those Yuri on Ice adolescence posters to print, all of that stuff. And I sat in San Francisco, everybody who was there because I was like, yeah, Yuri on Ice, let's go. So that every time you bring up Yuri on Ice, I'm like, yeah, right, Yuri on Ice. And here I am putting the marathon into theaters.
Personally victimized.
I would go. I 100% would be there with you. I love Yuri on Ice. So.
Yeah. Carola and I will watch it.
Yeah.
We'll marathon it again.
I'm not under duress. It's fine. It's perfectly serviceable. It's fine.
You're just obliged to say that because we have a guest on. If this was just me and you, you'd be
it's not like a Clockwork Orange. You have to like tie me to a chair and force me to watch your hand.
There it is, just eyes open.
But like the idea of having like theater activations.
Yep.
Again, go back to 2004. What do you mean there's theater activations? What do you mean we're doing like big conventions? The idea of something like CitrusCon, which we're doing next year.
Yeah.
Love CitrusCon.
I love
that you said that like you didn't know.
No, I
love that like you said we haven't been planning our panel for CitrusCon.
No, but I'm still processing that we are this close to next year. I'm struggling with the concept of time and my own mortality.
Same. But like the idea that something like CitrusCon exists.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful and it's terrifying and I love it. I love it. And at least for me, when I lay down, when I put on my satin bonnet and I snuggle under my blanket made of velvet and I have my fan on high because I need noise because I have a dysregulated nervous system. And if I sleep in silence, I feel like I'm going to be killed. And I put my phone down because it's hot from watching too many TikToks.
Yeah.
I think this is what I love about being a fan. That it is kind of scary and that I do need to stretch myself and that to love this thing means to grow and to adapt and to change with this thing. And every day I clock into my desk and I do the Yaoi Shelf and I work. And I do all this stuff. I talk to Tylor, who's brilliant, and we should hang out more. I every once in a while I catch a fleeting glimpse of Carola, like she's Bigfoot.
Fuzzy footage and everything.
Where exactly are you catching these glimpses?
Yeah, I'll send a message and maybe she'll respond within a business day. Maybe.
This is all true. You don't understand. Like I am a cryptid. I do not answer anybody or anything.
Does not.
And then I do want to say that most of the time it is me, but I also am cursed with notifications that just don't go through, and I don't. My phone has started doing this thing where if I'm out in the wild and I get a Discord message, it notifies me about the message, and then Discord goes black when I try to open the message. So that's fun when you're trying to meet with your friends.
It's a conspiracy.
Except for that Phenomena week where Discord sent you every unhinged thing I sent you.
Oh yeah, that was fun. Like Amanda sending me like literally important work things. Discord is like, who needs this? And then you send me this absolutely unhinged. I don't even know what it was, and I'm like,
we can't talk about it on camera.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I was gonna send you something absolutely horrific. I forgot.
Well, now I'm part of the Discord chat, so you gotta hit me up too. Like, let's go.
Okay, fine, but I don't say I didn't warn you.
Yes.
But like, it blows my mind in all the ways that I love, and I especially love this aspect. Again, that's one of the reasons why we brought Tylor on. Is that like so much of it now is being led by fans. Like I have to give so much credit to Peachy for creating something like CitrusCon because like I can't imagine there being like a BL anime frontier. I would rather die. I would rather die. No shade to Anime Frontier. Y'all get some good guests. It's because you're owned by Crunchyroll. Like I would rather walk into traffic than see a super corporatized YaoiCon come back.
Yeah, but I mean, it's kind of like what we talked about last month, right? About the 10 count and not 10 count, 10 dance.
10 dance.
I'm sorry, I'm just really wishful. I'm
Yeah.
obsessed with that stupid manga, okay? But yeah, like because on one hand, it's like it's such a big series and it looks amazing and I'm so excited. But then it's on Netflix and the locals are gonna get it, and I don't want to deal with that.
Right.
Respectfully.
But yeah, like that's why I love things like Blue Petal. That's why I love things like CitrusCon. And like I get hella overstimulated. I think people see me as a panelist and it's like, oh, Amanda is super extroverted. She gets on stage and she sings and she dances and she's great. Well, you don't
dance?
I do. I sang Let's Talk About Sex once at a panel.
Wow.
Let's go.
I have a video of it, I'm sure. But like, yeah. And then what they don't see is me putting on 3 hoodies, crawling back to my hotel room and then watching diners, drive-ins, and dives while disassociating for 4 hours. Because I've spent my entire social battery for like the year in one panel.
Yeah. Got to recharge.
But this new era is so interesting. And we've talked about the drawbacks of yaoi being as mainstream as it is. We've talked about the issues with the new fandom. I'd love to do a comparison episode on like how new fandom operated versus how new fandom operates versus how old fandom operated, like a really granular breakdown. Because again, you would not last an hour in the asylum that raised me.
I mean,
like, my hero is so problematic.
You don't understand what it is like to just obsessively rewatch whatever horrible OVA you had access to, just because that is the only thing you have.
Yep. Just wear out that DVD of sensitive pornography.
Me, literally me. And again, I will fucking die on this hill. Sensitive pornography is a masterpiece. Fight me. I will.
Oh, God.
I love sensitive pornography. It's one of the good ones. Do not.
They're coming for you in the comments, Carola. They're coming for you.
Tylor regretting every decision he's ever made.
I think I should get going. No, just kidding. Just kidding.
But I love it. I'm so invigorated by it when I have the spoons to be invigorated by it. I think it's great. And I think the cool thing is also, again, a lot of the people that are making these decisions now are old heads. We don't have a lot of energy for this stuff, so we don't tolerate it. I always say we have one of the best fandoms for a yaoi podcast because we set the tone. We attract people that understand, and for the most part, we don't get a lot of folks that act up, and it's great. Wow, that was a lot of information, and things sure have changed. But Tylor, you talked about this little thing called Blue Petal earlier.
Yeah.
And I'm really, really interested, especially with how keeping up with like BL and GL is becoming increasingly difficult in this new era.
Oh my God. Well, thank you so much for that beautiful transition. Yeah. So one of the reasons why I was really excited to be on this episode is because, Blue Petal is really focused on building community, bringing these communities together, really super serving these fans in ways that we know that they want to be super served, right? Whether you're a BL fan, GL fan, whether you're part of the community / demographic of shoujo, josei, wherever you fall on that spectrum, we want to help make your experience the best experience that you can have. And so Blue Petal is really focused on obviously bringing content over, but also focused on creating these community touch points, these opportunities where everybody can see themselves and stay up to date with the stories that they're excited for. We did that with the launch of the Blue Petal shop, which is our e-commerce platform dedicated to merchandise, bringing over just the amazing goods that our Japanese partners are creating. We're going to be bringing so much more of that in 2026, but also later this month, I believe on the 15th of December, Blue Petal Media is going to be launching Blue Petal News, which is a news site dedicated to really everything going on in the BL, GL, shoujo, josei communities. Our team has so many connections to Japanese creators and publishers who want fans to be able to engage more closely, right? Similar to what we were talking about earlier, how we didn't have that when we were growing up. Japan wants that connection, and so we're going to bring exclusives, reviews, interviews with all of the folks that you all love. So later this month, Blue Petal News is launching, and we are very, very excited for it.
I'm excited.
I'm literally so excited. If you manage to get like Maki Murakami or Fume Yoshinaga, we're in line to interview.
Please. Yeah, 100%. I mean, and that's the thing, right? Similar to what I was saying earlier, fans need to speak to fans. I want to build a team of writers and reporters, and we've brought some folks on to get ready for Blue Petal News, but fans who are excited. So if you listening to this are interested in writing for Blue Petal News, please send me an email at info@bluepetal.net. Send it on over. I would love to speak to you about seeing if maybe you can contribute to Blue Petal News when it launches.
Oh, this is amazing. See, I have the coolest friends. I'm just gonna say that. I have the coolest friends. I'm including you in that, Carola.
Same.
Oh,
We
okay.
rock Carola.
All the Scandinavian kicked in at once.
Oh no! Please don't perceive me. I can't take it.
But I'm so excited. Tyler is brilliant. I could gush about him forever. And I'm
You
so
should come
excited.
back again at some
You
point.
absolutely should come back again.
Please, I would. I mean, let me give the Yaoi Shelf fans just a little more of a sneak peek. I can say that one of our first titles that Blue Petal will be releasing is not actually a BL; it's a GL title.
Ooh,
That's all. And so keep an eye out for that announcement very early 2026. But
got it.
You all heard it here first.
Ooh. I mean, as if we don't have fans that read. We're all gay.
What?
Yeah. The second tagline of the Yaoi Shelf is just we're all fucking gay. Oh, but that's so exciting. I can't wait to be on a panel for you guys. I will travel. I'm so stoked. I believe in this so much. I believe in this so much as much as I did. I believed in Yaoi Crate. I'm so excited, and I feel tingly in all the right ways when I know people that are super passionate about stuff. Woman, I saw that. Huh? I saw that pink eyebrow slide up.
What? I did nothing. I just what?
Tingly.
I am tingly. I'm excited. I mean, this sounds amazing. Like, and just congratulations on accomplishing this and everything.
Big congrats. Big congrats.
It's all for folks like you, all for folks like young me. We're all here in this together, and that's all we want is to just make the best experience for these amazing fans as we can.
Amazing. This is the part of the show where we thank our patrons because these videos are what, Carola?
Oh damn, they are not. The YouTube algorithm doesn't like us. I keep seeing people censor the most ridiculous things on YouTube, and I'm like, well, I understand why we're not getting any money.
Correct. So thank you very much to Moons, Aria, Starlight, Kenny, Koval, Sue, Lucy H, Amora Blue, and Lauren. Thank you so much for supporting the show. Many of them are essentially lifetime supporters. Like when we founded Patreon, they jumped on immediately. So thank you guys so much. You'll be getting a year in review retrospective from us next week. We don't have a live this month because Carola and I are taking a little Christmas break.
Oh my god.
Carola finally got her wish. We're taking a little break.
We're taking a little break so we can do other things. Help.
Yeah, so we can do a lot of other things. But what are we talking about next month, Carola?
We almost kind of spoiled it. We accidentally touched upon it several times in this episode. Time has come. We decided that what better way to start the new year than by backpedaling and looking back at the trauma that is the vintage Yaoi OVA special. We're going to be talking about all of those good 2 and 3 episode classics that we grew up with in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
I for one am excited.
I can't wait to put that on.
Okay, but listen, because they're not here anymore. But because during CitrusCon this year, I always splurge during CitrusCon. I'm always like, this is a con. This is a legitimate con. I'm allowed to spend my money. So in the middle of the night, because they have 24-hour paneling. I'm in Norway. Everything is in the middle of the night. I lose my mind a little bit. So I go on Amazon and I bought a bunch of old OVA Yaoi DVDs. So I now own Okane ga Nai and Boku no Sexual Harassment.
Still in print somewhere.
Yeah, and some of them were genuinely unopened.
Wow.
That was wild. I'm very excited. I'm very prepared for this. Can't wait. I'm gonna spend my Christmas break watching traumatic BL from 1998.
I feel every year of my age. Like it all just manifested and rested on my shoulder. I feel every year of how old I am. But I'm so excited for that. As always, your engagement helps us out so much. Spotify Wrapped came out and YouTube Wrapped came out. So if we made it into your top 5 or anything like that, we'd love to hear it.
Yeah, like
I love seeing people who are like, oh yeah, like you made it into my top 5, and it's like, oh my god, people listen to us.
Yeah, people listen to us on road trips.
Yeah, and it's amazing.
Or answering emails, Tyler.
Love that.
Oh my god,
I love that. So have the safest and happiest of holidays. Tyler, you are brilliant.
Yes. Where can people find you?
Yeah, where can people find you?
Oh my god, I don't even remember what my Twitter is, but I am, I guess X, whatever. You can find me on Twitter /X at just Hoshi, HOSHI, Tylor, TYLOR, all one word. That's where I'm posting all of my, updates and all my BL and anime and manga fandom stuff. So please hit me up on over there. And then of course, if you want to follow everything that we're doing on Blue Petal, just at BluePetal_EN. That's where we will be. BLUPETAL.
I will.
Amazing. And we will keep all of that in the description as well.
Thank you.
I don't think that there could have been a better ending to this season.
I
agree. Thank you all so much for being here. Have a happy and safe holiday. And we will see you in 2026. Bye.
Oh my God. Bye.
Bye, everyone.